Alright, so now we're going to be doing a tint and shade scale. So I'm drawing up 2 of these scales. They're not meant to be something that's like perfectly neat and the squares all being exactly the same size. It is just a rough measurement for you to paint into each square. So I've done scales with 7 squares. 7 would definitely be your minimum. You could do 10 or probably maximum of about 12. And do this in your visual diary so that you've got reference of it as well. The other thing that I'd really like you to do is create these scales with a secondary colour. So it's just making it a little bit harder for you to work out how much paint you need, etc. I'm just here trying to get that green the same colour as the green in the colour wheel, which I've done now. So with the tinting is adding white. Now the main differences between these 2 scales will be the amount of colour you have to add to create a lighter or a darker tone of each of the colour. So the tint is when you're adding white, the shade is when you're adding black. And as you can see, I'm not adding a huge amount of white to this scale. And by the time I get to the last square, I should be almost white. Now, I'll let you in a little secret. I didn't go light enough. I could have done this and like done a few more scales. So now I will start actually, after this one I think it is, I will start actually using the white as like where I mix it rather than in the green, because I'm not going light enough, and I can tell this by now, and that's why I could have gone a few more squares for sure. So really trying to get white now, and I can see that I've run out of room to do that. But that's just still practicing. Alright, so now we're going to be doing the shade. So I'm just preparing this green. I'll prepare it a little bit lighter than I did for the tint, because we're going to be going darker to a very dark green for this one. So I just wanted to not have it as dark as I started with that tint process. So it will look a little bit more like a bit more yellow green as well, as you can see there. Now the biggest difference with when you're adding a black to a colour as opposed to the white is how much of the black that you add. So as a art teacher to children, I would always get very nervous about them using black paint, because black paint can kill a painting very quickly. You can see the difference. I've just added the tiniest bit of black paint to my green, and you can see the darkness that it will do. So when you make sure that you do both of these at the same time. So when I mean that, I mean don't do sort of one in the morning and then one in the afternoon, or one the following day. You can hear renovations going on in the background here. I hope that's not being too noisy. You can see how much darker that is going with adding the black to the green. It's a really nice colour as well. And yeah, again, probably could have done more than the 7 squares as well for the example. I'm making it look easy too, I must say. It is not the easiest thing to do, but this is why you're doing it, to learn how much colour you can add to change the colour, like shade it or tint it. It's a really good exercise just to learn how much of the white as opposed to how much black you add to a colour that you're trying to create. So enjoy doing these, and put them up in the Facebook group and have them ready to show in the live Zoom call halfway through the month. Have fun.